and welcome to Fantastic Books and How to Write Them. When King Lear dies in Act 5, do you know what Shakespeare has written? He's written, he dies. That's all, nothing more. No fanfare, no metaphor, no brilliant final words. The culmination of the most influential work of dramatic literature is he dies. It takes Shakespeare, a genius, to come up with he dies. That's from Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium by Suzanne Wayne. Now, this little passage got me to thinking, do we know where to cut the language clean and leave the rest unsaid? For years, I struggled with striking out a striking word or turning away a poetic turn of phrase. Now I have a list of criteria, still in the research and development stage, but effectively ruthless nonetheless, that helps me cut the wheat from the chaff. I encourage writers to develop their own criteria because revision is as personal a process as the writing itself. But here are some questions you may want to ask yourself while editing. Does the language drive the plot or hold it back? This is particularly important if you're smack dab in the middle of an action scene or an intense dialogue sequence in which critical information is being imparted or relationship building is taking place. These high-stakes moments are usually not the time to wax poetic, though there will always be exceptions, of course. Is the language tonally congruent with the scene? The tenor of the language should reflect its contents, unless, of course, you are aiming for a jarring juxtaposition of scene and tone. Think of a horror movie in which carnival music is playing. That's a strategically disturbing contrast. Is the language stylistically consistent throughout? It's not only your characters who have voices, your narrative in itself is a voice. And just like the voices of your characters, your narrative voice must remain constant. This doesn't mean it shouldn't evolve with scene or with the arc of your story, but it must maintain a logical degree of uniformity or risk creating instability. Is there a more economic or accessible way of communicating the same notion that is equally or even more impactful than the original? Now, see, perhaps what I should have said there was, can your idea be expressed more efficiently and effectively? Fewer and smaller words are often delivered in a much bigger punch and are easier for the reader to understand. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting you dumb it down for your audience. Rather, consider that language is a currency and it's important to budget your words and invest them wisely. I recommend saving those million-dollar words for when they really matter. There will be instances when the language needs to stand out from the rest of the story. In other words, don't spend it all at once. Please stay tuned for more fantastic books and how to write them. In the meantime, just keep writing.